Machine.
Hello there, my name is Claire, and welcome to Hot Pod Time Machine. This is the podcast where we explore a decision from our past which changed the trajectory of our future, and we do that with a special guest every single episode. And in this episode, we've got the wonderful, it's Dave Hill. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Hey. Now, I ask all of the guests this at the very start. When I told you the theme of the podcast, what was kind of running through your mind, because it's quite a hard topic to get your head around. There's so many decisions that we make.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird. Like I guess as I'm thinking about it, I think like I think of the positive decisions, but I guess I could have just as much thought of negative decisions. And with the huge, but I don't know. There, not that there's like a horrible. I can't really think of any horrible decisions I've made. Really, I mean,
I don't know. I don't think there's any horrible. Well, sometimes we make mistakes, but I really believe
many mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah, I make them all the time,
Yeah, me
every
too.
day.
Yeah, me too. I'm a bit of a fuck up generally. Like I kind of like stumble into things and go, oh, cool, all right. Like I seem
Oh yeah, me
quite,
too.
yeah, like it's chaos. Is your brain a bit like that? Are you quite chaotic?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm trying to because I just turned 29. No, getting old, not older, and I'm like, oh, I should try to like figure things out a little bit as the few years I have left.
Oh my God, you're not dying, Jesus Christ.
No, I know, but like, I think I tend to. I just tend to do stuff that I like and kind of take opportunities as they come along, but I'm not very like I'm not I work hard, but I'm very passive and not proactive, and I'm not someone who's like I don't ask anyone for anything. Like I'm not like, "Hey, I want to do this thing. Hey, put me in your blah blah blah." So not assertive, I guess is what I mean to say. So I think like, oh, maybe I should. What if I tried harder? But that being said, I think the way being chaotic and kind of going and with things and evolving has led to all sorts of amazing experiences and things like that. I tend to, if something sounds interesting or fun, I'm usually like, yeah, let's go. Like you could be like, hey, let's form like a band where we just play triangles. I'd be like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like that too. I am quite planned and proactive. Like I like to I have goals. I've got a lot of goals. But more so in the last sort of year, maybe as I approach a new decade, I am a bit more like, nah, well, let's just see if it feels good. I'm a bit more like that now.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of like worked in my favor. I've done a lot of things that I didn't think I would do, like comedy or acting stuff or whatever. Like I don't care. I'll just try it now. I'm like, try it because could be dead tomorrow, so might as well go for it. But what you're going to talk about, what is the decision that you made that you think changed the trajectory of your future? Like, what was it?
I think probably. I mean, I thought of a few things, but I think the thing, like the first thing would be just like playing the guitar, because it's sort of led to a lot of experiences, and it's something that's like integral to everything that I do, like not just with music but like with comedy, and I'm sort of mushing. I just like I don't know, the guitar is kind of it's a bit of a safety blanket too, in that I'm sort of an introvert. I guess I'm an extrovert in some ways, but the guitar, you can kind of like retreat to it. And so I always just I just always have them. I mean, right? You can't really. Well, I guess you can see some, but I have like
Yeah, how
I
many
don't
do
know.
you have? Like, 'cause I'm looking for those who can't see the YouTube video right now. We're looking at Dave's office, and how many guitars are in this background?
This isn't all of them, but I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Oh my god.
19. There's 19 in this tiny room right now, and then there's probably uh another 5 in the apartment, other
Oh
places.
my god. So, Dave, do you have a favorite guitar? Like, do you have one that you is your go-to? It's like your total favorite.
um Not
Uh,
really. I mean, there's one there that's like there's ones. Yeah, there. I mean, I could narrow it down to like 8, maybe.
okay. Oh, just narrow down to eight.
Maybe this one. Maybe I mean, this is like a pretty basic uh Gibson SG.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy. But I think with Gibsons, especially like well, any guitar. I mean, it's like sometimes it's just who showed up to work that day. To put it together.
Yeah.
'Cause something magic can happen, and I somehow found this one that's just super. It's not even a fancy one or a vintage one or anything. It's just it has the magic.
I know what you
Um,
mean.
so I really love it, and it's only paid like $1,200 for it, and I have other guitars here that are worth a few thousand each, and I still think this one here is probably the best one.
I've got a Fender Telecaster. I've got Gibson SG as well, 'cause it's all black.
Nice.
But I haven't plugged them in for a long, long time. I live in London in a small apartment. I know I can do it via computers now in the PC. I've got Focusrite. I've got everything set up. I
Hmm.
can totally do it. I just can't be bothered learning the tech. I really like just plugging something into an amp and just
Yeah.
doing it old school. That is my way. But I need to learn all the tech and stuff as well.
No, well, you could get like I do that stuff, all the tech stuff, but I also have just like a stupid little digital modeler amp here that I paid, $100 for. And that's like good for just like, okay, I want to play right now and I live in an apartment and I don't
Okay.
want to bother. And you can kind of play, because I have other amps here that I can't really use in my apartment, but this one I can just pretend I can make different sounds and pretend that I'm playing at
Okay.
Madison Square Garden or wherever.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna look into that. So tell me, how
Yeah.
old were you when you started playing guitar? And was it did you fall into the decision like you're talking about, or was it an actual decision?
No, like I wanted to desperately from like the age of about 8 years old. I I wanted to play desperately. And uh my dad wanted me to take piano lessons first, and he said, if you because I mean a lot of people, especially with electric guitar, they want to learn the guitar, but then they realize like, oh, is this work? And I have to like actually, especially to get through those like the early period where your fingers hurt and things like that. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
never really progress past that point. So my dad was like, you have to learn piano take lessons for 3 years to prove that you really, you're interested in music.
Wow, he made you
Excuse
jump
me.
a big hurdle then.
Yeah, so I had to take lessons for 3 years from like the neighbor who gave lessons, and then my dad claims it was to the day that I then asked to switch to guitar, but it wasn't really. There was probably like a gap year. I think around when I was 12, I picked up his nylon, like his Spanish guitar, and started like playing one string melodies, just figuring them out on my own. And then when I was 13, I started taking lessons from another guy like the next town over.
Right.
And later, and after like the summer, it was like summer before eighth grade. I don't know what you guys call that over there. Eighth grade.
How old are you in
Uh,
eighth grade?
13.
So I was high school. It's the first year of high school. I'd call it senior two. That's what we call.
Senior two.
Yeah, that's what we called
So
it.
yeah, so I was doing that, and then I got an electric guitar. Got my first electric guitar, which, um, and that was like, whoa. I was excited, but I was also like really overwhelmed by it. Like, I
Mm.
remember thinking like, I don't know if I want this really, and
Oh no.
I think it was like sort of like a buyer's remorse thing, which I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
That feeling of like when you get what you want, and you're just like, oh my god, I actually got what I want.
Yeah.
Um, but that didn't last long. And then I, you know, just kept playing, and it's kind of a, aside from the obvious thing of playing in bands and, having it be a good thing to have around, just as something, I think it's always, I mean, I'm sucked into like phones and computers like everybody,
Yeah.
but I, I can, I play guitar. Like, I've never gotten into video games. I just don't do because I'm just like I would rather play the guitar and get better at the guitar than uh and it's been like really good sort of uh it saved me a lot of times. No, I'm not in like, oh, it saved me from Dark Night of the Soul or anything. That too, I'm sure, but like I learned sort of when I went to college or university, like I brought my guitar, and by then, I could play all sorts of, whatever, Black Sabbath, Van Halen,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And it was like sort of like social currency. Like my freshman year, I was um as my one roommate was a guy from Buffalo, and he played guitar, so we bonded over that. And then my other roommate was like this big football player, great guy, but like super, like, big football player, jockey kind of
Yeah.
guy, and still like a great friend to this day. But like, we were pretty different, but we sort of bonded over music. And then he would have these guys over, like these giant football players, and I would just play guitar for them, and then they'd be like, oh, this guy's cool. And then like I kind of like it translated into like everyone knew like, oh, this guy can play like guitar really well. So everyone, like my whole time in college, it was kind of I had it was kind of like I was way like people respected me, that maybe were from a different whatever world, but or as much as anyone from a we're kind of all in the same world
Yeah.
at like a liberal arts college or whatever. Not that it's like crazy all sorts of different people, but anyway, but moving on from that, like I've done shows in prisons,
Wow.
and sort of using the same thing. I was like, well, there's one thing that like almost all dudes especially everywhere, if you can like rip on the guitar, they'll kind of respect you, or at least like give you, not kill you or whatever. Like, and so the first show I did in a prison was at Sing Sing prison, which is like a very sort of infamous prison here in the States.
Yeah.
It's like like on the East Coast, it's probably there's like San Quentin, there's like different, there's Folsom, there's all these, top 10 most negative maximum security prisons. Sing Sing's one of them.
Wow.
And so I did a show there, and I was uh, pretty nervous about it. So the first thing I did before I said a word is come out and just play like a bunch of riffs and guitar solos. And before the show, like one of the prison guards said to like my friend Carl that was with me, he said, he they they have to respect him. Like if they don't respect him, he's gonna have a really hard time. Like he is gonna have to earn their respect. And it's like 300, like literally murderers and rapists in
Oh
the
my
audience.
God.
And but by the guard's description, he's like, these guys are all murderers and rapists. And
Jeez.
so uh so I came out and was playing these solos and stuff, and my friend Carl said the guard walked over to him and they said, he's going to be fine. These guys respect him, I can tell. And then the show was like, but it was because I played the guitar. And then they kind of were like, all right, we'll give you space to like tell your jokes now.
Okay.
And then I went to Mexico. I did another show at Sing Sing here in the States, but then I went to prisons in Mexico, and I I played the guitar, and a buddy of mine is a priest. He's from Brooklyn, but he works in a prison in Mexico where the cartel guys murdered the warden.
Oh my
So it's
God.
very like kind of negative situation. And but I was like, I gotta come down there and check this out. And because I had such a great experience doing, Sing Sing in the States. So I was like, I would love to come visit. And
Mm.
so I went down there, and my buddy's like, do you speak Spanish? And I'm like, no, like I can order a beer, things like, basics. But he's like, well, you're gonna have to play guitar in the prison.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, yeah, of course. And so I played guitar with these guys for like an hour, because there's guitars everywhere in a Mexican prison. This is one thing I learned in life.
Yeah.
There's just guitars lying around in prison. And then,
Really?
yeah, I mean, they were everywhere. Like, and I just picked one up. And I started playing, and then like we all just kind of sat around and played, and I just played as like fast as I could, just guitar solos. Like while they played chords, I was just like playing all these solos and stuff. And like when we left, my buddy was like, those guys really like you.
It's so strange that that's. I mean, of course, maybe they're looking at it and going, "Yeah, he's skilled," or. But is there something particular about playing the guitar? What is it about that you think people really respect for some
I
reason?
don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's like everybody does, but I
Yeah.
think there's like especially, I hate to break things up into like dudes or, men or whatever, but I think like, because obviously there's, uh, all sorts of people play guitar, but
Of course.
I think with men, it's like some sort of, I think there's something about guitar, especially like kind of rock guitar and stuff. It's like probably along the lines of like skateboarding or something. Like there's kind of like this awesome or rad factor or whatever. Like where it's like it just kind of like one of those things where like if someone just like it's like everyone loves Tony Hawk because he's amazing. That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Like to be able to like do that stuff. I think everyone can like, even if you're not into it, you can be like, that's so cool,
Was
you
it
know?
a deliberate thing when you started doing comedy to, because you said, oh, you can hide a little bit or go back into the guitar? I use that when I'm playing guitar,
Hmm.
it does feel like a shield almost.
Yeah, it's a literal shield, it's like literally a hunk of wood,
Mm,
you know, and I think that's kind of, so it's literally you have a hunk of wood that you could bang someone over the head with if you had to.
mhm.
But it's also, yeah, I think psychologically, But with comedy, I didn't incorporate it for a while. I didn't, because I don't know. I think I just didn't wasn't sure how to do it, and a lot of what I was seeing was like people just kind of banging out like simple chords and making fart jokes, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then so it took me a while to kind of figure out how I wanted to incorporate it, and then um, once I started doing it, it was just sort of a fun way to do it, and I don't do it all the time. I did a bunch of shows this last week where I just talk because it's like sometimes you walk into a club and it's like you're walking in, you're walking on stage, and you're walking out. Like you
Yeah.
can't. There's no time for you to dick around
Hmm.
with setting up pedals and things like that. And then, but I do like it, and also, the 10 minutes of jokes is 20 minutes if you throw in guitar.
True.
You can just sort of like play some guitar. So it's a nice way to cheat to make a half hour set, an hour set,
That's a good
less
tip.
talking. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's a secret. That's I shouldn't tell anyone that.
Well,
But
I was thinking about comedy, especially the nothing now, nothing against the comedians that do this, but when I have seen a comedian play guitar, it's usually a little acoustic or a ukulele or something, and it's. I've not seen it done quite like the way that you do it when you're on stage with the guitar, and it's usually quite sort of twee songs, really twee and very like,
yeah.
I'm playing three chords and I'm standing on stage, and I think that's really sweet and nice. But I want to, I want to see something. I want to see like a bit of a show kind of thing, and I think that's the kind of fun thing about what you're doing as well. You're incorporating all of that, and it blends very, very well. You can hear your influences.
Oh,
Let's put it
oh,
that way. You
thanks.
can absolutely hear
Thank
them
you.
because you mentioned them earlier, or some of the bands earlier. You definitely grew up with a certain flavor, and I know from listening to Witch Taint, uh,
Oh yeah.
you can certainly see that. Explain how Witch Taint came about, because it's absolutely brilliant. I play a lot of your videos on my stream quite often. I've got a lot of people
Oh,
quite
thank
into
you.
them now. So what? How did that come about?
Witch Chain is sort of like a long saga, and it's kind of like evolving again because the band is sort of imploded, but it started as in like almost 20 years. Well, yeah, about 20 years ago, I was just like into black metal, like Norwegian black metal, and um at the time it wasn't really like in the, for a long time now it's been, almost like in pop culture, you see it, you know, people, there's like memes with corpse paint and all this, and that's
Hmm.
been going on for a long time now. But 20 years ago that wasn't really the case. And so I was into black metal, and I don't know, late one night I there was this website called FM Full Moon Productions, and they had a website fmp666.com, and I think it's gone or archived now. But this website had like a contact list of all these black metal bands like all over the world. And so one night I was just started emailing them and saying, you guys are a bunch of pussies. Like my band, Witch Taint, is so much more extreme, so much blacker than you guys. And I just made up the name Witch Taint like on the spot, like as fast as I typed it, just as I thought of it.
Yeah.
And I made up this thing of, that I was this 19-year-old kid living in Indiana with his mother, like super soft suburban lifestyle, but like thinking he was the most, extreme satanic guy ever. So I emailed, a bunch, and most of them just would write back and understandably, rightfully tell me to fuck off.
Yeah.
And, but one guy wrote back, and I thought it was this band Mysticum,
Hmm.
whom I still have, they're from Oslo, I think. and I still have never heard them really. But I wrote and I was just like, hey, it's just, you can read all these at the blackmetaldialogues.com if anyone wants to read the full email thread that went on for like 6 months. But I emailed this guy and was insulting this band, and then it turned out it was the band's label. So it was the guy who ran their label. And we just emailed for like 6 months where I was telling him about my band. And I even made a demo with my friend John Kimbrough, this horrible, unlistenable song we just made up on the spot. And the guy, he was like really nice and like, I mean, he was being like super black metal, but he was like kind of indulging, like I wouldn't have, a friend wanted to put all the emails on a website, and that's the blackmetaldialogues.com website. And, if it were a thing where I was like, oh, like this guy, I'm making fun of this guy, I wouldn't have done that, and I wouldn't have wanted those emails to be in the world. But I think the thing about the emails is the guy is just kind of really patient and like dealing with this idiot, me, writing him. So I think he comes off really well, and I or my character comes off as like a complete moron. So anyway, so these emails were around, and like they were kind of went whatever viral or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like selling t-shirts and things for this fictional band. And then like in 2017, my buddy Phil and I decided we just put on some corpse paint and read the emails on stage at St. Vitus. It's like a sort of legendary venue here in New York, in
Mm.
Brooklyn. And we did that a couple times. Then I got asked to do South by Southwest to do stand up there. And I was like, well, can I do this witch taint thing too? I want to read these email. So they're like, yeah. So I did that one night, and it was like, uh, unbeknownst to just like word got out that it was happening, and it was like a line sold out, line down the block.
Wow.
And we genuinely had we were walking to the theater, and we're like, what's going on at this theater? Besides, there must be like 2 rooms here, because
You're
certainly
going on at this theater, Dave. That's what was
I,
going on.
yeah, it sounds like I'm lying, but I swear we walked down
Wow.
the line of people, and we were like, what are all these people doing here? There's something here tonight. What is it? And then we get inside, they're like, they're here for you. We're like, oh my God. So that was cool. And then from there, we did it in London. We did it in Oslo, and then finally we did the Wacken Festival in Germany, like the world's biggest metal festival.
Wow.
And by then we had written a few songs, and we incorporated it into this thing. And so, we're in this tent in the middle of a field in Germany in corpse paint reading these emails. And, a lot of people were like, what is happening? Because they're from wherever, Austria or wherever they're from. But when we would play the music, everyone would go crazy. So we were like, oh, let's just form a band and just make a record. So we did that. We made the record, and then I think we played like 6 shows, and then the record came out during the pandemic. And after the pandemic, we played 1 show, and then we it's kind of fizzled out in this current. It's totally my fault. Uh, why that is, but um I think it'll live on in other forms. It'll evolve in other forms. If not, if no other form, then just witch taint t-shirts. Well,
That's good enough. And we've got YouTube. We have YouTube as well. So if anybody wants to go see the videos, which are something else.
yeah, we made a few videos and stuff. So who knows? There'll probably be more music in some form at some point. But I have other stuff to do.
Well, you said like at the beginning of this podcast that, oh, I should probably be a bit more proactive, and I just sort of fall into things, or I say yes to things that are interesting to me. But I've always watched you from afar and gone, my God, that man is busy. Like, you are writing books, you have your comedy, you've got music, you've got fashion, like you've got all of
Yeah, I
these
do.
things.
Well, I think I do, like, I do stuff. Like, I'm not lazy.
Yeah,
I'm proactive, like, on my own.
yeah.
I guess that's what I mean. Like, I do stuff, but I don't like, and I, without, like, I feel like whenever I start talking about this, I feel like I'm just switching it into a therapy session or something. But I'll do stuff. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go make a record. I'm gonna, uh, go do some shows and stuff. But I kind of just like take what comes down the pike. Really, the only things that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this is the like artwork and the music. That's me going like, okay, I'm gonna do this. But everything else, like the books, people get in touch and they're like, hey, do you want to write a book? I'm like, okay. Or do you want to
Sure.
do a show? Yeah, sure. Do you want to go on tour? Okay. Things like that's or like acting. Like, I would love to act way more than I do.
Mm.
That, like, things like that where, you know, I should be like, hey, give me a shot.
But how is
I
that?
don't know.
What have you learned from that way of working? Because some people are very ambitious. They will like put themselves into situations or ask, and those are also valid ways to do it. But what?
Oh yeah, I'm not knocking it.
No, I mean it's a form of working for some people, but I like that way that you work. I mean, that would make me sort of nervous, I think, because I'd be like, when's the next thing coming? I need to try and find it. But what have you learned from that way of working?
Well, I think I feel lucky that I've been able to make a living for a long time that way. But, then I'm like, well, I could probably be doing better if I, uh, you know, was a bit more proactive. Because, I think it's just, you have, well, with anything, there's a lot of other people that want to do what you want to do. So you're kind of, I don't know. I think it's like this is maybe a crude analogy, but uh, it's like the sow, the pig, oh, the mother pig. She only has so many teats. And the teats of show business. Not every piglet is gonna grab a hold of the
Yeah.
teat. So I'm really sorry to use that analogy, but so basically, if you see the sow and all the piglets, they have to fight to get in there and get some milk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I like this
so
analogy.
I'm saying like I could probably do a better job of fighting for the teat.
I want that on your next t-shirt or your merch. Fight for the teat. Uh,
Fight for the teat,
fight for the teat, and just like sleepy pig. Just,
Yeah, yeah. So
just
I think that's it. I'm the sort of runt, sleepy pig who has somehow still found nutrition over the
totally.
years.
Like, you're just
So
kind of rolling over and like taking the little driblets. Just like,
yeah, yeah, I think that's basically my career in a nutshell. Is just taking the whatever little driblets of milk are left after the other piglets have thrown their elbows and things.
but you know
But
what? It's Dave. It's worked in your favor. I mean, like, yeah, there's so many people in this industry wanting to be a comedian, a musician, or whatever it may be, but you're very consistent in your creative output, or it seems that way anyway. Um,
yeah, I
and
mean, I don't know. I just like doing stuff, and the stuff that I do is what I would do if I had to, knock on wood. I mean, if I had to, get a job doing if I had to, cut lawns for a living or something, which I have done and it's fun, but like if I had to do something else, the things that I do now for a living, that's what I would do when I got home from work, or what I would do on the weekend. So can't even remember what my point is. I guess yeah. I don't know. It's just all the stuff I do for a living is what I want to do. It's what I want to wake up and do
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of always doing stuff because I'm just having fun, really.
Same, and that's the way it should be. I I got told recently by a few friends that I should relax and maybe stop working. But however, just maybe take time off. But my work is making things and creating stuff and writing things or playing guitar, or I'm always doing it for something. I enjoy that. So working for me is a great escapism and an enjoyment, and I think that we're lucky to be able to say that, because most people try and escape from their work, but I'm trying to do more of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, 'cause it's fun
Yeah,
if you love doing. I mean, that's what uh, the saying that love what you do and you never work a day in your life, or however it goes.
absolutely.
I kind of feel that way. I mean, the only thing I do that I genuinely hate or don't like doing really is
Oh no, what's that?
um and I shouldn't even say this because I have a new I don't like doing audiobooks
Oh, okay.
because um even though my next book, I don't know, I assume there'll be an audiobook, but so I hope I haven't just jinxed. I need to knock on wood again. But I can't, I'm really bad at reading my own writing out loud, and you have to sit and you have to do it over and over because you screw up and stutter and stumble. And so I'm sitting there in this booth going like, and then I was cornered by the wolves or whatever. Um, and then they're like, try it again, do it one more time.
Oh.
And
And it becomes actual work. And they're like,
yeah, that is like very frustrating because I just suck at it. And just I suck at reading out loud. So that's
okay.
the only thing where I'm like, God damn. Plus, like, you're in there and supposedly drinking coffee is really bad for your voice and for speaking.
Sure.
Uh, but when you're in this booth, coffee is the only fun thing. I mean,
Oh
there's
god.
like, you can have water or you can have coffee. So I'm like, well, coffee's more fun. So I would just drink coffee the whole time, which is the worst thing you could possibly do.
So you're like drinking shitloads of coffee, and you're going, and the wolf went here, and you're just like,
Yeah, yeah, and it dehydrates you and makes you like just trip over your own tongue.
I am. I tell you
It's a
what,
nightmare.
I've got a solution for you. Next time you're going to do an audiobook, I'll be your stand-in. I'll practice my best Dave Hill voice.
I
Uh,
would love it. I'm afraid to ask you to do it now if you have one.
okay, okay. Hi. Wait,
Oh my gosh.
I gotta get into character.
I
Yo.
thought
Okay, that's how. That's
I
how.
don't I
That's how.
don't say
No,
yo.
that's how I start my American voice. I always
Oh.
start with yo, and then and then we get into character. Hi there. Hi. I am Dave Hill.
That's very convincing.
Thanks.
I would trade accents. You have a really great accent.
Well, I speak quite clearly, but there has been a few times. You know what? Mostly when I'm speaking to people who are properly LA natives, if I speak too fast, they kind of like. It doesn't really happen in New York or anywhere else. I don't know why. It's just people from. I love you all, people from LA, but I don't know why.
Oh, they're really stupid. No, just kidding. That's cliche, stereotype.
Well, you are
Stereotype.
from the East Coast. I mean, I expect nothing.
No, I'm from the Midwest. I'm
Are
from
you?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh,
So,
right. Okay. So,
but I live on the East Coast.
so you're pretty much an East Coaster now. Would you say that you feel that
Oh
way?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I'm just gonna switch this. Oh. There you go. Oh, that's so much better.
He's got color, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are not watching the YouTube video, he just switched on a light, and he's looking rosy.
I look rose. Yeah, I was like really struggling with how my ghastly pale I was looking. I mean, I am ghastly pale, but not as ghastly pale as it appears.
You need to
But
get filters, which I have, which make me look like I've got a lot more color than what I do, because I am from Glasgow, after all,
yeah,
living in London. Do not see the sun.
I know you moved down south.
Yes.
But um well, the Glaswegian accent is so like it's funny. Janie Godley, you know Janie, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Of
Comedian,
course.
hilarious, genius. She, I, the first time I met her, I was doing the stand in Glasgow, and she was nice enough to come out, and I was talking with her, and she had me I opened for her at, I don't remember the venue. I think it was like a former church, and so I came over and did that, and then we were talking, and she was like, "Could you understand me during my my show?" I said it was much harder to understand you. Like I had to like replay it in my head a lot to like figure out what you just said. And she's like, "Yeah, when I came to see you the other night, I was speaking like more slowly, the way I do for Americans when I want them to understand me."
Yes.
But she's like, I was performing for a bunch of Scottish people, so that's how I really talk.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, what? But yeah, when I get to the UK, depending where I am, like I have to like replay what was said to me.
We
Like I'll
have a
be
lot
talking.
of accents, Dave.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
It's
in
mad.
America, like we mostly just know like the posh British accent.
Oh, like Gwyneth Paltrow's English accent, like, oh, sliding doors. That one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
She's got a great English accent. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a really good posh English. Or Hugh Grant, like that kind of like, oh yeah, Notting Hill. I can't really.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm terrible at accents, so, and I've been in London for 20 years, and I can get away with maybe doing a kind of jokey English accent, but I've got this new character on my Twitch channel called Tarot Cat, and he's from Brooklyn, and
Oh my gosh.
it's hard. Like I had to look on so I was writing the script, and I was like, I think I'm gonna try and get jabroni in. I'm gonna try and get the word jabroni in at some point, but like
Always good.
I was trying. I don't even know if that's a Brooklyn word, but there's a whole list of New York slang that I was trying to pull from to write Tarot Cat.
Oh,
Oh my god.
what is some of it?
Okay. If they're going, yo kid, yo son, all this, so I was having to like do all of that, like kid or son. The things like saying like lit. I would never say lit. That kid's lit, bro, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
God.
I mean, I wouldn't ever say that.
No,
But,
I can't imagine.
There's
you
people
saying
I've
that.
heard. I try to only speak in proper timeless. No, I'm sure I use plenty of slang.
The King's English.
But
The King's English.
I try to. I mean, I fail, but I try to not use like contemporary vernacular, because eventually it's gonna go out of, it's gonna fall out of favor.
You think
And
so
then you're
though?
walking around.
But like, what about like there's a lot of people that use things ironically who are about my age, and they'll go lol, lol, and
Oh yeah, well you should avoid those people.
lol. But I'm like you. I try and speak properly, and because of my job and because I have to interview people from all over the place, from
Yeah.
Europe or America or wherever, I try and keep everything very proper. I don't use slang either. I would never like so. Especially if I'm moving to America, I want to be understood. I'm gonna have to start dropping my T's because that's I think we talked about that before in your podcast where I was trying to order water in LA and they were like, sorry, ma'am. And I was like, water. Then they understood it. And they're like, oh, water. Oh, yeah, water. It's water. Like, how do you.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think I know what you meant. I
Yeah.
think you I think you should never don't give in.
Yeah.
I
So,
think you have to try just be fully Glaswegian
like,
and make people adapt. Like I try to be fully from Cleveland in the way that I speak. Like in New York, people say waiting online. If
okay.
you're like waiting, what would you say in the UK? You'd be like, you're in a queue or you're
Yeah, we're waiting in the
queue
queue. Yeah.
in the queue. Like here in Cleveland, you'd say I'm waiting in line.
Right.
In New York, you'd say I'm waiting online,
Oh.
but I refuse to do that. Um, Little things like that. It's
What?
like, but I'm the same way in the UK. Like I won't say, I won't call the elevator, the lift, an apartment, a flat. The only thing I'll do
Okay.
just to avoid, because you don't want to be like a use like conversational speed bumps. But like, I'll say I have to go to the toilet, which we don't say here.
You know what you should start saying, which I used to say when I lived in Scotland or when I go back to Scotland? I'm off to the bog.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
That
Right.
that sounds like you're gonna go pee in like a big
Swamp.
swamp. Yeah, I like that.
I'm off to the bog. I'll see you in a sec. If people are like, what? Where are you? You come back? You should just splash some water in your hair and go, oh, I've just come back from the bog. Really lean into it. Like, bro, you're right.
I
Yeah.
like that. That's like I always think that's really funny to leave or to just be completely wet for no reason. Um, but I tried that. I've been touring with Puddle's Pity Party. Do you know Puddle's Pity Party?
Yes, I've heard of, but yes.
He's amazing. So we were talking about it, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I was soaking wet when I came on stage to do my set?
Yeah.
And so right before my set, I like got in the shower. So my just like water was dripping down my hair and face and everything. And I don't think anyone, because we were doing these like big theaters,
No
I don't
one.
think no one, it didn't register with anyone that I was like soaking wet. So
How
I'd done it,
disappointing. That's so annoying.
especially for me, because I was like kind of, it's really damp. It's not my preferred state.
Yeah,
Um,
you really went there. Well, I don't think being extremely damp in public is anyone's preferred state. I mean,
no, no.
have seen it, but not a preferred state. Dave. That's disappointing. I would have at least wanted a heckler to like pipe
Yeah,
up.
why are you so damp,
Yo,
mister?
yo, why are you so damp, bro? Did you like that? That was Max.
That's amazing. I learned I feel like I don't think this is like I had an audition for uh I got an audition during the pandemic for that show Pistol.
Uh-huh.
You know the Sex Pistols show? Did you see it?
Yes. Yes, I had to
I
interview I had to do a thing for NME about it. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
So I got an audition through my agent for the talk show. Is it Bill Grundy? Is
Hmm.
that the name?
I think so.
And he's this British talk show host in the 70s, and I worked so hard on the accent. I like called like friends from the UK and like practiced like, does this sound right? And they'd be like, oh, this syllable's off.
Mm.
And I did it. I auditioned for Danny Boyle over Zoom, which was like
Wow.
such a thrill and scary and but funny. And I didn't get it. As anyone who's seen the show will tell you, I'm not on that show. But I tried and I was like, man, I'm probably as an American don't really have a shot, but I'm gonna really give it my all. And I did it. And then my friend Harry was like shooting something in London. I was like, I want to roll in this thing. He's like, well, you have to do an accent, you have to do a London accent. So I sent him some voice memos on like WhatsApp, and he's like, that's actually really good, but you sound like someone from London in the 70s. And I was like, well, that's the only way I know how to talk.
Well, then that's good. I mean, then actually, like, you did all right with your research.
I did. I tried.
It's hard though.
Progress.
It's difficult. I think the I was sitting with someone actually. She came over to be in a Comic-Con. Her name's Alex, and she is in a video game called Red Dead Redemption, and we were talking. So she's an actress, voice actress. She went, go on, do your American accent for me. So she went, just talk in a natural voice, but do your American. So we were over dinner and I just started talking. She said to me, and it is hard to do another accent. She was like, your R's, it's your R's. You roll your R's because you're Scottish. Like, so you can't.
Oh, yeah.
Or like you, it's just the way that I say R, like those. It's really hard to get rid of those small, tiny things. I have this like video before my Twitch channel starts. It's like a cult thing called, I'm like, hello, welcome to We Global. It's like a Paul Verhoeven weird thing where we're inducting people. And I wrote out a whole script, and I got another friend who's an actor to read the script to me in WhatsApp so I could hear all of the words.
Oh, nice.
But it's still difficult. I listen back to that when I'm on Twitch and I'm like, it's the R's. I can't get rid of the R's. Like, so
don't do it. Don't get rid of them.
So how would you say, Dave, if you were going to say brought to you by We Global, how would you say that?
I would say brought to you by We Global.
Brought to you by We Global. I just try to feel, and I have to do it like this.
Yeah, you have to.
Brought to you by We Global.
Brought to you by We Global.
Brought to you.
If you want, I can record it. You could just use my voice.
I would love.
Brought to you by We Global.
I would love that. Oh
Brought to you by We Global.
I might send you a really weird script one day, and you can just read it out for me.
Please, I'd be honored.
It'll be very fucked up. But I know that you'll be able to do it.
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Like, you can drink as much coffee as you want. That's your absolute. You can drink coffee, and I won't make you repeat your lines. You can just go for it.
Oh, good. I can just stumble.
I actually think the stumbling will be cool. I kind of think that'll actually be better.
If you want stumbling, I'm your man.
Excellent. I'm quite good at reading things out because it's like I've got that kind of it's like a host brain, like presenter brain. So I'm quite good at just repeating the words, but it's almost like an Anchorman thing now. I'll just read anything that's on a screen. And sometimes on Twitch, if somebody says something bad, like mods have to delete it for me real fast because I'm like, I'll start reading and go, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's terrible. I'm like Anchorman. It is like the Anchorman curse. Like, you just start reading it out. Dave, when are you bringing your podcast back? Because we're on this podcast. And
we're on your podcast.
And I loved being on your podcast.
Oh, thanks. I don't know. Like, I want to do, I would like to do another podcast or radio show or something. But I think right now I'm kind of like enjoying having less things to do. So we'll see. I think I would like to get back to it, but I'm just not sure when. And usually, like, it's happened twice now. Like, when I'm finishing a book, I will kill whatever. Like, I had for this book, I was like, oh man, I can't do that podcast every week. I got to finish this book because it was, I just turned it in a week ago. And, for my previous book, I had a radio show, and same thing. I quit the radio show, but to finish the book because it was due, and I was really crunched. And then but I think, you know, when you take something off your schedule, you go like, "Oh my gosh, this feels amazing." So I'm kind of enjoying not having as much on my schedule and kind of try to do a better job at fewer things. So we'll see, we'll see. I
I
mean, then, you know, who knows? Tomorrow, maybe I'll start with a new one tomorrow. I don't know.
was the thing like I I don't know. I don't know about you, but I tend to load myself up with too much because it's fun and I like doing things. Because over Christmas, what I found, I had a period of time on my own, 3 weeks of a lot of a clearer schedule, clearer space. But I start getting very, I get down when I get too quiet because then I start to think there's no outlet for the thoughts and things, like I'm not writing anything, I'm not playing guitar, I'm just cleaning and existing and watching Netflix, and I don't seem to find the balance very well. I'm not very good at relaxing, and that's the
Yeah,
problem.
I'm the same way. I can't. I always feel like I need to be doing something.
Hmm.
I'm like a I think it's like, you know, there's certain dog breeds that they need a job, you know, or they're not, you know, like some dogs have to herd, you know, they're
Yeah.
used to like doing things and they are lost without it. And I'm kind of that way where it's not like I need the coolest thing to be doing, but I need like a purpose. I can't just be like I always say like, oh, if I had like some more money, I would just be like, okay, I'm not gonna do anything, but I just always want to do stuff.
Oh yeah, same. I've always said that if I had more money, I would probably just do more stuff. It would just be like I would make a studio so I could make music properly, or I'd have like a
Mm-hmm.
place where I can film properly. It would just be the production values would go up. That
Yeah,
would
yeah, totally.
that's the dream, to have like a really amazing space where you can invite your friends who also do similar things, and then just have like people come in and out and just make things, create stuff. I think that would be the dream. So then even if you're not doing anything, you're inspired constantly by all these amazing creative people. That would
Yeah.
be incredible. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just break my back working, but and I still want to. I still need to make a new EP because I released one last year, and then I, got busy. So I still need to do
Yeah,
that.
you have to. I like your music. You have to make, you got to do more.
Yeah, I got to make more
Keep it
depressing
coming.
music.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You're,
the best kind.
would you say that? Because when I listen to your music's got such a flavor. When I make music, it just seems to be very, very downbeat, and I don't know why. Like it just. Do you think that's just our inner soul kind of coming out? Like I don't know what it is. I can't make upbeat music, even though I love metal and loud stuff.
May, maybe like you know, I don't know. I tend to like I have this other band, my sort of my main band, Valley Lodge, is like a kind of like power pop kind of rock band and our one song is the theme song to the John Oliver show,
Yeah.
and it's at I mentioned for the listener, um but like that I like that group, when I'm writing songs for that, I'm kind of always it's kind of just goes always back to like I just want like fun music to drive around in the summer. You know what I would even though I don't even drive.
Yeah.
Right? I mean I can drive, but I very rarely do. But it's kind of like my mindset for that. And I don't know. I wish I could like I just went for a run around the city and I was listening to Sleaford Mods.
Oh
Do you know
yeah.
them?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I love them so much, and I love it. I don't think I could make. I think I could make maybe like the bass lines,
Mm-hmm.
but I just the rest of it. I was like, oh, that's not like. But I love. I love their whole. It reminds me of. I think the first time I heard it reminded me of like when you're in kind of like a real like kind of shitty pub, like or just kind of like a like really like kind of depressing pub and like in the day and it's not crowded and there's two like kind of menacing guys over in the corner and you think they want to fight you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like that's sort of what it's when you listen more closely it doesn't sound that way, but like the first time I heard it I was like, oh, I think these guys want to fight me.
Yeah, I know
And
what you mean. It's got such that it's so that energy. I love
yeah, but I
that
love them so much though.
oh I really like Sleeper Mod. I love bands like back in the day like at the drive-in and things like that, but yeah, I quite like angular math rock sort of bands or like metal. But yeah, like no matter how hard I try, it's just the deep, infinite sadness, Dave, that takes over me, and somehow that's what comes out. The deep,
Well, I
infinite
think that's
sadness.
okay. I mean, that's what you got to do though with like you just have to let whatever's going to come out, you know. I always think like my creative output is I sort of liken it to like a snail, the goo that a snail leaves behind on the sidewalk. That's my that's what I it's just like what's going to come out is going to come out and it may not be pretty.
I like that. I'm surprised you don't have a band called Snail Goo. Uh,
That's our band.
well, there you go, Snail Goo, but it has to be really slow post rock, like really slow.
I'm into that.
Yeah, slow post rock, kind of like a Sun O, but post rock. You know, just they play like, but it's really beautiful. Instead of like deep humming notes that like make your heart explode, just they make tears form in your eyes. You go blind because you're crying too much.
Yeah, I
That's
like that. I think this is the band that needs to happen because I really like Sono. I don't know where I put it. I think it's in my
don't
bag.
tell me you have a cape. It's
No, I don't, but I have two you know, there's the Sono, the life pedal that Earthquaker Devices
yes.
makes.
Yeah.
I have two of them.
Oh.
I have the very first one, the one that's like the collector's item. I have that one and I have the most recent one. Um
Oh. So a post
so
rock
I'm ready.
version of some. Well, hey, I'll send you some real sad, like kind of like maybe chords, things like some ideas. See what you want to do with it.
Okay, I'm in. I love this idea.
Snail goo, snail goo. I was so into
Snail goo.
it.
I mean, for the t-shirts alone, we should probably do it.
Oh, look, I'm all about just the t-shirts. If I don't have to play any shows or do anything, we could just have the t-shirts.
Oh yeah. I mean that's one thing I really like about black metal is like inactivity and not playing live are like sort of key, you know, that sort of only add to your mystique is the less output and lack of actual performances only make you cooler, I think.
Well, this is why Snail Goo's gonna work. And when we do go on stage, instead of those capes that Sunno has, like we'll just appear in snail outfits, like literally,
I
just
love this
but play
where
very
people
like.
they won't know which one of us is under which shell.
No, they won't. They won't. And we're gonna have like we're gonna like our whole thing. Like no one will know. And we're gonna have to like fashion something on our shoes where wherever we go, you get a little bit of snail goo on the stage.
Oh yes,
It's
this is a brilliant idea.
I really want to do it. Like I'm feeling it. Dave, you've been fantastic. I know we talked very briefly about the moment that changed your life, but it really did. I mean, like I'm looking at the guitars in your background. I'm thinking about all your creative output. Picking up that guitar was the best thing you ever did. And
Maybe. I mean, it's like I don't know. It just like leads to. I feel like it's led to different things. I mean, obviously, most of the things involve playing the guitar,
yeah,
but just different. You know, uh, I've been all over the world because of it. You know, I've also with comedy, but you know, I played music all over the world
mm-hmm.
and played the guitar, you know, all over the world, and I probably would have not been to as many places without it.
Exactly. It's wonderful. And like Just think about that. If you hadn't done that, we might not be sitting here speaking right now. You wouldn't have done all the things, perhaps maybe in a different guise, but so that one decision was one of the best decisions because it's clearly part of you. Music is your
Yeah,
life,
yeah,
you know?
totally. Yeah, it's a big part, whether I like it or not. A lot of times, I think at some point in my life, I'd be like, oh, I'm done with music, but I don't. I know I never will. I'll just keep doing it.
Oh, yeah. No,
I'm, you know, um, because I have all these. I have to. I can't. I just have to sell all these guitars if I didn't
I mean,
sell
you've got like 200
several.
frigging guitars, and I'm imagining you're being modest, and actually, your whole apartment is just guitars. You've got.
No, I try to keep it under control and not have them everywhere, but
I'm
I,
kind of
but
I'm
I
imagining you
have.
like pulling away the bedspread, guitars, like.
Well, there are a lot under the bed. Like there's ones I'm forgetting about, and then
Mhm.
um. But I was out with a friend. I always like talk to friends who have more. Um, I was out with Alex Skolnick from Testament the other night,
Mhm.
and he lives in New York also. And I was saying, and I think he has probably at least twice as many as I do. So I felt better. I always feel better when I talk to someone who has more.
Okay, that's good. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So,
I feel like I'm under control.
Dave only likes to make friends with people with at least 25 plus guitars.
Yeah, you have to. It's important.
That's very important. Dave, where can the people find you online? Like, to give us your socials. So tell us,
My s-
where can we find you, Dave? Where can we
my
find you?
socials, I'm on Instagram primarily and TikTok, though I more Instagram at Mr. Dave Hill at Mr. Dave Hill. My website is davehillonline.com. I was banned for life from Twitter a few years ago, but there's rumors that they're gonna I know they've said they're gonna reinstate people, but so far they're just reinstating Nazis. So I've not been reinstated. But my friend George Hahn sent me a thing where he saw like next month they're gonna start letting people like me who I was permanently banned for mother jokes. So
God.
maybe I'll be back on Twitter. I have to say life without Twitter is much better, and I recommend it to anyone.
Oh, yeah. I barely
But
go on there now. I'm barely on.
yeah, yeah, it's just, but maybe I'll be back. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, go follow him on Instagram. Go check out the website. Go look at TikTok. Um, Dave, it's been wonderful speaking to you again.
Yeah,
And
likewise.
hopefully we'll see you soon. Everyone, this
Yeah,
was
I hope so. I'm excited. Hopefully I'll see you in the UK, and then I'll be seeing you here in the new land, the new country.
yes. Dave, we'll see you very soon. This was Hot Pod Time Machine, and we'll see you again next time. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Hot Time Machine.